to block me. But I made up my mind, oh, nothing can stop me. This life is nothing but a test, and I made it success. And there's just no limit to all the great things I can do. I see my possibilities. Just hope something found here in me. Just so much pain, I'm just ahead of me. I'm looking further down the track to the head. I'm over back over my mind. That holds up vision of my destiny. And it keeps me out of something. Because I know what's inside me. There's so much more than I can see. There's so much that I can become. That's why I'm reaching for the sun. I see my possibilities. Just hope something finds here in me. Just so much green, like the head of me. I'm looking further down the track to the head. I won't look back. I see my possibilities. Nothing between us. But I'm looking further down the track to the head. I won't look back. You can find me looking back. 'Cause I'm headed where not yet. Nothing but green like the head of me. But I'm looking further down the track to the head. I won't look back.
Alhamdulillah. Let me make sure. Hold on. God ain't done with me yet. Hold on. All right. Hit me. You good?
Assalamu alaikum. I am.
I
I am. I'm very good.
I'm glad to catch you. Hey, you look real special today. You always
I
look special.
do, huh? This, I think because this is kicking off I'm taking a break this week and I hustled hard and when you work for yourself, you have to plan when you're off, right?
Yeah.
So I got all of the work in as much as possible the week before. And so I'm just basking in the fact that I'm done. I had one little meeting before we came on here, and this is my final step. And then the rest of the week is mine. So I feel good. I feel very accomplished.
making them power moves. That's what it takes. It's all
Yeah,
about that
inshallah.
plan. It's
Yes,
about that
absolutely.
planning and accountability
Oh
and sticking
man,
to the plan and all of that, right?
100%,
Alhamdulillah.
100%.
So I know we want to stay on BART train schedule level timing today.
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
gonna back out of here and let your plane take
Alhamdulillah.
off, and inshallah
I
get
appreciate it.
right back to you. All right, it's all
Yes,
yours.
inshallah. Thank
Assalamu
you. Alaikum salam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum to all of our listeners on Blog Talk, as well as those that are following us live on YouTube and Facebook. My name is Camila Shuaib. I'm the CEO and owner of Love is Always a Subject, and we are a wellness brand that is in place to support Indigenous women to reach their highest goal and align them with their God-given mission. I don't know if that's me with the sound in the background, or let me see. Okay. So we are hey, it's my birthday tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow, right? And is my birthday tomorrow based on the solar calendar, right? This concept of time is always a very interesting one, um, and it can cause a lot of anxiety and stress. And I'm not talking about time as in dates, but time and feeling like, you know, you have an expectation in your mind of what you want to have happen and how you want things to happen. And I have adopted this new idea of surrender. And this ideal of surrender, in this opportunity, in this living opportunity that we're in right now, the clock of the finances can cause a lot of stress, right? And abundance doesn't like to live in a space of stress, doesn't like to live in a space of tension and this ideal of lack, or this ideal of that you don't have access to abundance, right? And how we define it. So we've talked about, you know, how we define certain things is really how we move, right? So this ideal of surrendering is to this place of just us as Muslims to surrender to Allah's will. Right? We do all that we can, how we can, right? But then we get to this space where we have to understand that, okay, this is no longer within your control, right? And so, like my father was mentioning about plan, work the plan. What's the plan, right? And there's joy in creating a plan, because a plan is anchored in inspiration. So when you think about, you know, the inner child of ourselves, like when we think about playing, or we think about how we want to make something, a sandcastle or something, you have a plan, you have the tools available, and you try things out to see how it works. And this is the playing, right? And that in doing that, when you figure it out, you celebrate it. But while you're creating it, there's no frustration there. While you're creating it, you are absorbed in the creativity of what you envision in your mind, this unseen ideal in your mind, and what comes to be, what manifests in the reality. Over time, we have lost this youthful energy around creating an inspired thought, whether as an entrepreneur or even if you work a job, right? This ideal of us being able to create legacy and build income, and, you know, leaving something behind, some of the material world, gaining parts of the material world, it does not have to always come from being an entrepreneur. It has to come from us being financially literate, for us having a financial mindset, understanding the tools that we have access to, right? And really changing our language around money. There was a book called The 24-Hour Millionaire, right? I think I don't know if it was 24-Hour Millionaire, but basically it was based on becoming a millionaire with your job. Right. And this young man and he's a young man, and he speaks about this experience of, you know, building his millions while working the job, because the job was helping him to be able to invest in the life that he wanted to create for himself. And it was exciting to create this plan. It was exciting to learn about real estate. It was exciting to take these classes, and it made him excited to go to the job, because the job allowed him the freedom to explore this beautiful possibility of owning property, this beautiful possibility of creating homes. And they call it, how many doors do you collect, right? And so that gave him the freedom to have that fun. So when I think about, like, when I worked a job, my job, you know, allowed me the luxury of to do those extracurricular activities. So now I'm in this space where I work for myself doing hair, but it funds this other business that I find a great deal of joy in. It funds the projects and my access to building programs because I know that ultimately me doing hair is not the thing that I'm going to do all the time. I'm ready to transition myself into a new space of work. And so when we start to understand that, the planning part gets exciting, right? And in this planning part, you surrender to this idea of that it's not about your expectations, what it is, but to enjoy the journey. Surrender to the journey, right? Because and I hope that the man will speak on it some more. He always says life is unfinished business, right? Unfinished business. But even in it being unfinished business, there is an opportunity for you to create as much as you can so that those that come after you can finish the project, right? So when I think about, like, even now with the book that I've written, there's nothing in my mind right now because it's such a hard project for me. It has been a challenge. I won't say it's hard. It has been a challenge that there's nothing in me that's like, yeah, I want to do that again, right? Yet in the creating of it and structuring it and formulating it, it's like a puzzle, right? I have these different, so I had in my mind a release date as to when it would be finished, but I know that there's a part of me that wants this to live beyond who I am, live beyond this physical life, this concrete exit reality, right? So I'm making it a point to ensure that I'm going to get as much of this in and done, because if I never write another book again, this one will represent me. So if it takes another 6 months, it takes another 6 months. It has to be right. But I find joy in when I sit and I read through it and I'm editing and I take it back to the editor and they say, well, expand on this idea. When I think about the design, I'm finding joy in the creative process of it. I'm not getting frustrated about, well, you wanted it to be done by your birthday. Oh, and that I'm inviting an anxiety that is contrary to what Allah's plan is. Because Allah's plan is the best plan. And Allah's plan is what is going to ensure the success, inshallah, of this project, right? So I'm surrendering to what is going to be the best move for it, because my intention for what I'm creating is for it to be rich and full and for it to be well put together. I don't want to rush to the finish line. I had another project where I did rush because my ego was like, yeah, I said I was going to do this, and no matter what, it's just got to be done. And in me doing that, when I finally released it, I noticed so many mistakes, like big mistakes. And then I also noticed that there were parts that if I would have given myself more time to sit with it, I could have, it could have blossomed more, right? It's like picking early fruit. Is it edible? Absolutely. Yes, it's edible, but it's not at its best. Like, yeah, you can eat it, but it's not going to be as good as if you left it on the tree a little bit longer, right? So in this part of us surrendering to what it is that we want, is it something that we want, or is it fulfilling a need? Like this need to engage the world, engage this life, and create something beautiful that can be experienced. I am not of the mind, I always say this, I am not of the mind that Allah wants stress for us. I'm not of the mind that Allah wants anxiety for us. I'm not of the mind that Allah wants us to be oppressed by quote unquote, I'm putting air quotes, productivity. And when I say productivity, I don't mean I mean productivity in a, you know, capitalist type of system, right? And I always have to edit my words around these things because, I know that these terms have a very specific level. The Imam says language has baggage, words have baggage, right? That there's this baggage attached to it. And it's just, this is what we have been given as our tongue of speaking and communicating. So I'm not saying, I don't think capitalism is bad. I don't think that it's great, right? It's a matter of how do you use the tool. How is that tool of capitalism used, right? So, in this whole ideal of creating material wealth or generational wealth, in this process of doing so, are you enjoying the journey? Right, my mom likes to garden and be in the yard and all of those things. So when she gets weeds and things like that that need to be pulled up, there is something that it feeds a part of her, and she finds joy in getting her hands in the dirt. She doesn't get frustrated like, oh darn it, there's a weed here, there's a that, there's a no, there's a joy in creating the environment that supports it being able to reach its fullest potential. So I'm saying I want us to really lean into the beauty of surrendering to this journey of learning something new, this journey of understanding cryptocurrency, this journey of what does it mean to create legacy, right? Because every day and every moment that you spend in understanding this journey, this financial journey, and what it is that you want to create and what it is that you want to leave is an opportunity. It's an opportunity. No, you may not become a millionaire, but what you've learned and understood, you sharing that with someone else, a family member or a good friend or a group of individuals, and you're sharing that with them. Oh, you know what? I started this plan and I was doing this and this. That is legacy. You have passed on these ideas to where if you don't finish, if this is your unfinished business, they will continue and finish their business. And Allah is the greatest accountant. Allah is the greatest accountant. That in that you making that move and you making that dedicated choice to seek out the knowledge, to understand it, and in sharing it, not hoarding it, that you have planted more seeds that someone else can utilize in order to build legacy. And you get the benefits and the pieces of that as a result. So let's surrender to the journey and not be so attached to the outcome, but have the vision in mind. Because every brick that you lay leading to the finish line of this idea, this vision, this destiny that you have in your mind is going to benefit anyone and everyone that comes in contact with you. It's a benefit. So to think only about yourself in it, the journey is a part of the gift. It's literally the gift. When I woke up this morning, me and my best friend, we have these moments where we talk about like the goals of where we want to go. Like I had a big goal in my mind for the business this year, right? And have we reached that goal? No, we're halfway through the year. Okay, it is. I could choose to be frustrated and be like, nah, oh my goodness, why didn't this happen? I should have done more of this. If I had this, I would have been able to do that. No, that was my plan, right? But there were other things that unfolded and opened up and allowed me to better understand how to get closer, how to expand my capacity for the vision that I had. Because this vision doesn't mean that, okay, just because you have the vision, you wake up the next day, boom, it's done. It's like I woke up this morning and Allah has given me another opportunity. I have another opportunity to get that much closer, to bring the unseen into the seen, to bring this vision and manifest it into my life with a reality. So I choose each day to execute each day with okay, what did you do today to get you closer to that vision? What was that thing? What was that moment? What call did you make? What did you read? What conversation did you have? What did you write down in your journal? What did you know? What are those things? What connections did you make with other individuals? How did you better flesh out this move? Each and every day, I make it a point. Like I don't even go to sleep until I take inventory. Like, did you do something that will bring you closer to the goal that you set out, that brings you closer to bringing this unseen vision into sight? What did you do today? Right. And so I surrender to that. And it becomes, for me, I mean, call me a weirdo, I don't know, but it becomes exciting for me to be able to sit back. And I realized it wasn't just one thing, there were multiple things that I've done to get me closer to that goal. Right. So as the information is coming down, don't surround yourself with the lack mentality about, because this is what I appreciate about the recording that we just heard, that a recession is an opportunity for the wealthy. It's like we've been hearing these buzzwords of recession, 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 right? It's an opportunity. So which side of the opportunity are you going to choose to be on? Right? Are you going to be the consumer that feels like you got to purchase up everything, got to buy everything because, oh, it's the end anyway. Why should I plan 20 years ahead? I want this instant gratification right now. Right. And so the mind of those that are wealthy is like they're willing to delay an experience in order to extend the life of their financial life. Those who live in a space of lack have to consume it right away. They don't take this moment to hold on, like let's delay this gratification for the moment so that we can unfold and see what it is that we want to do next, right? And so let us start to think about those things. Let's sit in the gratitude of, okay, do I have everything that I need? Like if I walk out here, I have food in my refrigerator. Yes, I do. I have a roof over my head. Yes, I do. Do I have clothing? Yes, I do. Do I have company, love, family, friends, associates? Yes, I do. Right. So in actuality, I am rich beyond bounds. Like I am very wealthy in this moment right now, right? So now my mind is like, okay, this is how my life should feel all the time. What are the tools that I have access to ensure that I can continuously create this kind of life for myself? What do I have to have in place? What do I need to understand about getting my money to work for me? What are ways to create passive income? If I worked certain amount of hours, then how much do I want to save to put aside in order to invest it? Like this is a puzzle to unfold and to solve in order for me to live the fullness of my life, right? So let's surrender to that and not to this expectation, but to surrender to this journey of gaining and getting the things that you want that are best for your life. Okay? So with that, I'm gonna call the man back into the room. I think you're muted.
Now I'm unmuted.
Yeah,
You have me?
yes.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You made me. You made me think about something. I'll get this to you at some other point. But in our earlier broadcast, I think her name might have been Twist. Twist might have been her last name. But the point is, she has this idea of gratefulness, right? But she breaks it up into great fullness, right?
Yeah.
So when you respect the fact that there's a great fullness, you don't have, it's like this lack. There is no lack. And there's another one that's on the quantum physics side of it. It's like, man, there's so much in the universe. It's like it's inexhaustible. And then he points out that what's inside of you in terms of neuronal connections and potential is more than the visible stars in the universe. That's inside of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so somebody has to convince you that everything is short. No, ain't
Yeah.
nothing short. There's plenty of like we say in the hood, everything. Take that V out of it.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's a
Yeah,
fact. It's a
yeah, yeah,
fact.
yeah. We need to get it straight. All right, sweetie. I got a
Yeah,
schedule to
it's a
keep here,
blessing
so
to be able
I'm,
to
I'm
live a life and see that. And Allah tells us that over and over and over again, that no matter what is happening in this world outside of ourselves, you can't block what Allah has for you. And Allah
that's right.
wants the best for you. Like, it's like, okay, Allah
Yeah,
wants, okay, this isn't the best for me right now.
yeah,
Like, okay, but Allah wants the best for you. So you need to choose the best. And when
yeah,
you choose the best, it's the rest of it is waiting for you right there. It's a
yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
place to live in. It's a beautiful mind to live in to be able to understand that. Because the moment that you think that things are crumbling, it's like, nah, I must be choosing this crumble. Because that's not how Allah works.
hmm
Whatever is happening to you, you can't blame anyone but your own soul, right?
That's
It's
right.
like, so
Hmm.
that it within itself is a level of accountability. Like, it's like, yo, are you choosing that? Like, Allah
Hmm.
said, look, I got all the good stuff for you. I created you in
Right,
excellence. What are we doing? Right?
right,
So
right,
to
right.
choose it is beautiful place to be able to live in that mind, in that reality. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. All right. Alhamdulillah.
All
Well, I'm
right.
going to ride out for a hot second. All
I
right.
think the
Assalamu
blog talk
alaikum wa
mic is
rahmatullahi wa
going out a
barakatuh.
little bit.
Yours or mine? Can you
Yeah,
hear me
your
okay?
blog talk mic is
Yeah,
kind of like staticky or something.
yeah. What I know probably what happened. I had to turn this fan on in here. It's a little hot, so it might be messing with the sound waves. You still got that static or whatever?
It's like it sounds like you're far away from it.
Sounds like I'm far away
Yeah,
from it.
like your distance, like your mic is distance, like on the computer, good.
Okay, my bad,
But on blog talk, you're distant.
No, I see what's happening. I don't have my AirPods on. Should be good now, right?
It's
Can you hear
better.
me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you hear me now? So, can you hear me now on the computer? Okay. I guess I just get so excited. I just keep running and got to slow down. All right. Like James Brown said, now we together. Let's go. Okay. Here's what's happening. I want to go over the big boy game. I want you to go over the big boy game. Okay. So listen, you want to get off the porch and like I'm using all this cultural slang, rhetoric type language. You want to get off the porch and run with the big dogs, then you need to understand how the game is played, right? And everything for as far as life, if you really understood life, everything is a game. Life itself is a game, but it's not a game like play jokey kind of thing. It just has rules and boundaries, ways to score, and etc. There's competition, all that. That's in the nature of life, right? So what I'm interested in, I want to share with you, mashallah, my understanding that works that benefits me, and inshallah, if you caught you get what we've said for many years, I can say with regard to Bitcoin, and paid attention and did your own due diligence and the like, you should still be okay. But let me just go cover the game. Other things are going to come up as we continue to speak about it. Okay, what you have in front of you, it is actually the the big boy game. I should have put that title on it, but this is the big boy game. This is how the big boys are playing with regard to the crypto space as it exists right now. Okay, it's a game that's also played with any kind of asset, right? It just depends on how big the players are, how big the market is. So it can happen in gold, it can happen in diamonds, it can happen in real estate, oil, anything that's an asset. Just has to be the ones who play the game the way I'm describing it. They just have to be that much bigger than the pool, whatever, the body of water, quote unquote. We talk in economic terms, liquidity. It's about liquidity, right? Liquidity means cash available and the like that's in whatever the market might be. It doesn't matter. It could be chips, it could be automobiles, it could be potatoes, oranges, it could be anything, right? All right, so just understand the structure of the game, and it can be played anywhere. So let's go with this. So hopefully you can see on the screen let's just go with that. Okay, let's start. A market of an attractive asset. I've just tried to tell you it could be any asset. A market of an attractive asset is undervalued or oversold, is what the big boys, those who play this game at this level, that's what they are looking to buy into, right? Whatever. Certain people have the way that they search out stocks, certain they search out companies, they search out different assets. It just doesn't matter. Art, it can be anything. What they're looking for, they're trying. Warren Buffett, for example, Warren Buffett, he has this concept, this idea. One of his early learnings is like he's just trying to find that cigar that just has a couple of puffs left on it, right? So he has this criteria by which he decides which companies he's going to buy or buy into. He's not a stock guy. But I'm not trying to tell his story. You can read about him everywhere. The point is that he has this paradigm. He has this concept. He said, I'm just looking. So when he searches over whatever resources that has the kind of information and descriptions that he can find out which boxes are being checked by company X, Y, or Z, then his concept for making that decision, it boils down, at least in part, it boils down to the idea, I'm just looking for that cigar that has just a couple of puffs left on it. And that's what he buys into. Okay, so the big boys in whatever field, but since we're talking about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin even, and particularly, that's what they are all looking to buy into. This attractive asset is recognized as an asset. And so now, how do I get in the game? But I don't want to go into the game. Now we're talking like the quote unquote big boys. It's like, I don't want to go into this game like a sucker. Right. And I'm looking to go into the game in order to be able to. This is just what it is right now. I mean, it's like the Wild Wild West. It's like the gold rush. It's like the early time wildcatting. I've heard Michael Saylor talk about it as like wildcatting in the oil industry, right? It's like you saw maybe you saw that Oscar movie, There Will Be Blood or something like that. Any case, so the point is that's just nature. That's a new game. That's the newest thing. In terms of that, those who are, able to deal with risk and who are able to go in or who are interested in that particular market or that particular asset, okay, well, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for something that's undervalued and oversold, undervalued or oversold, either way. Okay, so the big boys of this market, they will push an asset down, meaning they push the price down, and they push it down through using their influence, right? So they're big. Sometimes they're called whales, right? So you think in terms of these large financial powers who've decided I want to get in on some of this. So one of the ways that the game is played, once they find it and they say, okay, well, I can make moves here. We can, what do you got? What was that? DMX, stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop, right? Well, that's what that's who I'm talking about. Because the thing is not regulated. The market is not regulated right now, which is one of the things that Kevin O'Leary was talking about in the piece that we played before him. Well, so it's like this game is best played and will be played with those who play that game at that level. Is going to be best played pre-regulation. So this is a time where if you're going to get it done, you're going to have to get it done now, if that's the game you're playing. And I'm saying to you, yes, there is manipulation in the market because it being unregulated. And so therefore, yes, it's volatile and it's risky, but that doesn't change the true nature of the asset itself, right? If somebody's manipulating the real estate market, if somebody's manipulating the precious metals market, if somebody's manipulating the gem, the market in diamonds or whatever, okay, they're manipulating it. However, that does not change the true asset value of those things. Oil is still valuable. Precious metals are still valuable. Gems, the precious gems are still valuable. Real estate is still valuable. Art is still valuable. All of that, it's just like, but if you got a whale in there that's playing that game because they're that big and because that asset is that attractive, okay, well, if it's not regulated in the same way, well, then that they come in to do that. But once it becomes regulated, prices become stable and the market becomes so big that, hey, nobody's big enough to really just mash on it. But right now, cryptocurrency is still at that level where those who decide to come in to that at that level, yeah, they can do that. That's fine. You don't have to lose. You don't have to. I say you don't have to worry about it if in fact you do know that this is part of the potential, but it's not the best of it. It's not the totality of it, but it is a critical aspect of it at this stage of the game. So now if that's too risky for you, you got to be like everybody else who stays away, and you don't risk anything that you're not willing to lose. If you're feeling stress about something, that means you're overinvested. If you feel any stress or any anxiety, oh, man, and I'm not mocking, I'm just saying, I'm just illustrating. It's like, okay, well, you're overinvested. So you need to take down some of that to pull you back to the point of where you have more peace, if that's possible. I'm meaning if your losses are such that, if you have losses, are such that you just won't be totally depressed because of the fact that of you're having to make that kind of move. The point is that from the beginning, one of the lessons is always never invest what you're not willing to lose overall, because it is risk. Anything you get into from a business perspective is risk. Okay, so how do these big boys, how do they push the asset down? So they want to push it down so that they're able to buy low and sell high. That's the object. The object is just push it down, push it down, push it down. Once it gets so low, now we're gonna buy into it. So now we get more of that. We know it's a valuable asset, and we know that it's undervalued because it's oversold. People don't really see the value of this, and we got to get in before the true value of it is being seen. So in order to do that, we got to push it down by fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what FUD stands for: fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So we'll pump fear, uncertainty. Oh, look at it. Oh, look at what's happening. Oh, you better get your money. Oh, whatever. To create a herd response, right? To create panic selling in what? In this valuable asset, this attractive asset. You want to get it down to the oversold level. Who's playing that game? They want to get it down to the oversold level so it becomes cheap for them. Okay. And the way they do it is, just basically it's like bad mouth, manipulate, and there are other signal ways that they play. I'll mention it right now. Let's finish the sentence. It says, and accumulate the assets. So really, the simple goal is, okay, valuable asset, but it's at $66,000, Bitcoin, for example. Oh no, I know we missed the boat when it was down there at 20,000. Oh, but now I see what it can do. Okay, so I want to buy in, right? But hell no, I ain't gonna buy no $66,000. We got to push it down. So let's foment fear, uncertainty, and oh, it's risky. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's not gonna. Oh, it's for pornographers and dope dealers and whatever. Pushing it down so that it gets into a range where okay, I'll buy it for that. They're speaking to themselves in their own game. Okay, we've got it down to the level that we wanted, and so we buy in. So then what that does, they do that so that they can buy it from the small time speculators. The people is that they don't believe in the asset. These are the ones the weak hands. These are the ones that they expect to get the benefit of the asset because it's unappreciated by those people that we call them weak hands. They bought it. They got in early. They got a good buy, and they were just interested in the fiat dollar profit. Okay. So therefore they are speculators, but they're not like these whales. They're not like these big boys. These big boys, you small time, whoever you are. If you got $10,000, if you got $100,000, if you're speculating, you're small time in relationship to these big boys that's coming in, because you become their food, you become their lunch. Let's move on. All right, so that's their aim. Their aim is to get this attractive asset, push it down by promoting fear, uncertainty, and doubt, so that those people with weak hands and those small-time speculators trying to do make a short-term buck, etc., will be forced to sell what they have of the asset, and the big boy is going to be right there to buy it. And so therefore they're getting it cheaper because this person bought at that level. They push the price down. That weak hand say, oh man, I'm losing. I've got to sell this before I lose anymore. And then the big boy, who was the source of pushing it down, he's there. Oh, I'll buy that. So they buy it, and so now they've gotten it cheap. And then we'll come back to the turn when we get to this next paragraph. Okay, so the big boys want to push it down until it reaches what they call the oversold. Let me show you this so at least you can see it, right? Don't worry about the chart. There's only one thing that you need to know. This oversold and overbought, right? Oversold, this is called the RSI. And relative strength index is what it stands for. So the point is, so it's saying that, okay, when it goes under this line, usually the range is like between 30 and 70. It's just a number, right? When it goes under this line, when it's oversold, meaning that it is pushed down to where what can you say? It's being treated in a way that says it's not worth as much as it really is, right? So it's oversold and said, nah, that's a real low price. That thing shouldn't be selling at that price. That's what the indicator, which is what it is. The indicator is saying this thing is oversold, because there's a reality inside the market that says is all that there are those who know and say, okay, well, I'm really just waiting for it to get down. And like Kevin O'Leary was saying, said nobody knows the bottom. Nobody knows, okay, this is the bottom, so let's buy right now. No, nobody knows the bottom. But the point is, everybody has this RSI number in their head. Is it under 30? If it's under 30, then you really start paying attention about maybe you should start buying in. Start buying in now, right? So this is the state that the big boys who missed it up here. I hope you're seeing the chart. So when the price was up here, the big boys who were probably on the sideline, not even paying attention, etc. Said, oh, whoa, look at where that thing is. Okay, I need to get me some of that, but hell, I ain't gonna buy it right there. So they bring in their FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, by their ways of influencing to push the price down. They push the price down. I have another example. Well, since I'm talking about indicators, do that. Listen, brother and sister, I'm not trying to teach it to you, that, and not necessarily that I quote unquote can from that formal sense. I know well enough to do what I need to do. And so I'm directing you to, if you want to understand it from the chart perspective, but really the people who are investors, see, the charts are really for speculators more so. So speculators, I guess I just got to slow down. Speculators are the ones who, I'm just trying to hit it and get mine and get out. Well, that's not, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, it's really not for you. It's not for you. You need to stay over on Wall Street or NASDAQ or something else or Robinhood, whoever else. This is not that. This is not that. So you stepping up to a crap table mindset in terms of that. And this, you don't win in this volatile market in that way. You have to have, what you call low time horizons, meaning you have to have a longer view. In general, the rule is sort of like you have to think literally in terms of 4 to 10 years if you're talking about an investor. If you're a speculator, well, then you're kind of like the lunch for the big boys, right? I mean, that's just reality. You're trying to get in, you wind up buying high and selling low, and that's not good. But that's what they want. Okay, let's move on. So I'm just trying to show you an example. See, because the nature of the crypto market, it's a public market. It is literally a public market. So you have all these exchanges, you have all these indicators, you have these which are called the buy and sell walls. The buy and sell walls. What are they? It's sort of, let's put it like this for the sake of understanding. It's sort of like weather maps. Let's put it like weather maps, right? When you listen to the weatherman, they'll start talking to you about, what a high pressure zone, low pressure zone, fog, humidity, blah, blah, blah. They'll tell you about all that, right? And so you plan on going to a city, and so you get the weather report for that city. And so if the weather report tells you, it's going to be misty, foggy, cloudy, rainy, or possible thunderstorms, wind warnings, all whatever, what are you going to do? You're going to start preparing yourself to be dressed for the weather, right? So you pack, especially you got to leave one state, go to another state. So you pack in order to be ready for what you expect to find when you get there. Okay, well, economically speaking, financially speaking, this is what these kinds of exchanges providing this kind of information, because all of the crypto sales, etc., they are very public sales. Not all of them. The big boys do have an over the counter, direct sale thing. If you're big enough and you're connected in that way, yeah, you can buy without moving the market. But I'm saying, just to look at this, for example, so you have the sell wall in this example right here. The sell wall is what's on the right, the red one's on the right, which means that, it's a lot of selling that's going on. But see, these are not actual sales that have taken place. I'll read what I have on the screen. It says, what is a sell wall? A sell wall is a tool used by a rich individual or group, they're called whales, to manipulate the price of cryptocurrency, to manipulate the price of cryptocurrencies downwards. That's what I'm talking about, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We want it to go down. So they place a large sell order. That hasn't been sold. They just put that on the market because you can when you whatever, make your sell, make your buy order, the money, quote unquote, or the asset itself has not moved yet, but it becomes like a cloud on the weather report, right? And so they being able to put a cloud or a thunderstorm on the weather report, knowing that the people who use this particular exchange, they're going to dress according to what they are reading on the screen, the average one, the one who really knows they know the game, so they understand that, don't make no moves right away, because that's just to create a look. That's just for generating a certain kind of impact or sentiment, fear or greed, some kind of sentiment in the market. Everybody who's looking, and if you don't really know and you're just moving on the sentiment, well, then you're the one that's being manipulated by the one who's manipulating the market, through creating these sell walls, it's sort of like them making a promise to do something, but they can pull those, and they do. They can pull those orders. You can cancel an order. You can put up an order so the exchange posts it, and then once it has its influence on the market to create the sentiment that it wants, that person can pull that order. They haven't spent, quote unquote, a dime, if you will, but if they have an account that allows them to legitimately post that, quote unquote, I'll sell if I can get this price. If they can post that, then the people who just use that as an indicator, right? They react to it as though it's a done deal, and they put real money in that. We're talking about the weekends. We're talking about the people who don't really understand the game. They wind up making moves based on what they think is coming, thinking that they're ahead of the game, when in fact you were baited into it, right? Let me say this quickly, since it comes to mind. Sort of like, it's kind of like there's an automatic, natural kind of like, why? Well, why would you really be involved if somebody can do that? No, everybody's not doing that, and everything is not subject to that. And they can, and it's not a game that I can say that goes on perpetually. It's being played right now by those who missed the run up to 66,000 from whatever it might have been, 10,000, doesn't matter, who missed the run, and they're trying to get it back. But it's like, okay, if I know that's the game you're playing and I know it's going down, then I know this is not a permanent scenario. All for Muslims, it's always inshallah. But we know it's not a permanent scenario, because the reality of the asset, like real estate, like precious metals, like other real assets, it's like, man, you can't suppress this forever, especially this one. And in the light of the current economic situation globally and in the GDP of America, etc., yeah, you got to have some sense of these things. Then you say, okay, well, that's what it is right now. And there are ways. First, know that the game is underfoot, right? And then also know how therefore should you play. So let me give you some very specific suggestions. I'll tell you what I do, right? One of the things, I guess we're going to say as much as we can say, but one of the practices, if you want to be involved, I'm not a speculator, and so therefore I don't recommend you being a speculator, right? My situation is, I recommend that you do what's best for you. The situation is you have to have the long view, right? And again, for as far as BTC is concerned, Bitcoin is concerned, you should be thinking in terms of 4 to 10 years. Just think in those terms. And if you're not ready to put in what you won't even look at or look for 10 years, then you shouldn't put anything any more than that. Anything that you're not willing to be quote unquote separated from or not focused on, for 10 years, that's just the long view, then you shouldn't be involved. You shouldn't be involved with in that sense. You should do something else. But one of the analogies that came to my mind is that, what if somebody gave you a little elephant calf, right? It's a elephant calf. Let's assume you have the other land and property, etc., to be able to just have at least the elephant calf, right? So you already have some idea where this elephant is going to grow to. It's like, it's an elephant, and once you understand it's an elephant, you are already planning on that thing becoming massive. Okay, I want you to understand, this is the way that I suggest that you be looking at Bitcoin, because the big boys and the bigger than that boys, that's exactly how they're looking at it. And they know that the supply, because the supply is limited and it's going at every 10 minutes, a new coin is being printed, and over 19 million of those coins have already been printed, and there's only 21 million. And so it's like, if you don't get one, you're not going to have one until it gets to a place where somebody is willing to sell it and is going going real high. But let me see if I can stick with this more sensible aspect of it. So I'm saying, so you have these indicators here. These are things that people who are speculators, they look at it and they take the signal, and those that have this short-term view, they try to run in and make a buck, right? And then and what happens on some of these other exchanges, some of those very exchanges will allow you to leverage. And that means that you can control, just think about the Big Short. You can control X amount of Bitcoin without actually owning Bitcoin, but that's in anticipation of thinking that it's going to go up. So they allow you, oh, you want that? Okay, here, take that. We'll give you credit for this amount of Bitcoin, right? And you thinking that it's going to go up or what have you. Well, because you put yourself in that. So now you're leveraged. But if the price goes down, you're going to have to replace what you have, quote unquote, borrowed, because that's what you're actually doing when you're leveraging. Well, you have to replace what you actually borrowed with real money at the real price of whatever it is at that time. You got to catch it before it, what they call wrecked you, or before you get wrecked or liquidated. And to talk about what's happening right now is that there are a lot of people who got caught up in that leveraging, who got caught up in speculation with it, and in that and so the big boys pull the rug. I'm being short. They pull the rug on, mainly on those what it's called short squeeze. So they create a situation where those people that were over leveraged, they create a situation where people are over leveraged, and then they push the market price down so much that the value of what you had leveraged is out of sync with what you could actually get for the asset now. So therefore, you have to sell assets. It's just like 1929. And you can look at the movie Margin Call, The Big Short. All those are telling you about this is what's going on. Okay, that's a part of the type of thing that's happening with Bitcoin right now, even though it's up over 20,000 right now, and even that is not peculiar to Bitcoin. I'll share this with you. I hope there's some benefit that you could get from it. I'm keeping with a time frame, so I don't want to rush. Don't want to rush too much. But I want you to look at this chart now. Blog Talk, obviously, you can't see it on Blog Talk. But okay, this is the history, the price history of Bitcoin, right? So at 2009, you could get Bitcoin for 9 cents. That's less than a dime. 2010, right? And it went all the way up to $26.90 in 2011. That was almost a $3,000%, pardon me, increase, right? And then it went up to $13.29. Pardon me. It began at $13.28. It went all the way up to $123, right? Etc. Okay, so then it went to a peak. Went to a peak like 2013 or something like that of $687, and then it dropped, right? The price dropped all the way down to whatever it had to be, back into whatever, let's call it the $30 range, just to look at those numbers. Okay, so that was a severe drop. So some people, oh, woe is me, right? Fine. All right. Then 2015, it's back up to $315, right? So that's like 10 times, a tenfold increase, between the period of time 2014 to the middle of 2015. All right, so you see the chart. So then it went up to 900, then it went up to 2,000, right? 2,000 in May, and then went all the way up to 19,000 in December. Same year, 2017. It went up $17,000 and still rising. All the way, it went from 2,000 in May up to 19,000 in December, right? Then what happened? Boom, went down again, all the way down to 10,000. Oh, it's lost 50% of its value. Okay, wait a minute. It started at 9 cents. Okay. So now you're at 10,000 in June, and it dropped all the way down to 6,600 in December. That's 2020, right? In 2020, right? And then, but what happened again? It did boom, and it goes back up, right? And so all this chart is the main thing that I want to point out to you in this chart is that the ups and downs of Bitcoin is normal for that asset. That's what that asset does right now in the unregulated quote unquote crypto. The government hasn't gotten heavily involved except to say, okay, y'all can go ahead and do your Bitcoin thing. Okay, do your crypto thing. We're going to be coming out with some regulations soon, but not right now. All right, well, so that's when the big boys can play their game, and so it's like they're not going to ding you or kill you off or IRS you or what have you in some kind of punishing kind of way for being involved in it. So that's a tacit approval of the overall market until they get the the regulatory environment to be able to manage it in a way where whoever wants to play that game, whoever wants to benefit from it, can benefit from it. And it's going way, way, way past where it is right now. This chart goes where at 28,000 as of May. That's May this year. And so right now at this moment, it's a little less than 20,700. All right. So what does all this mean? It means like look at where it's going. If you're looking at the chart, it's like it started here at 9 cents. What? Who's tripping? Oh, okay, 60. Listen, I own the Bitcoin at 60,000. I'm just talking about me. I owned it when it was at that price because I can't think of, I don't even know the last time I sold any Bitcoin. Just put it like that. Because it's not the thing that once you own it, that's not the thing that you sell. Because whatever it is right now is going to be ridiculously, I'm talking about cosmically, galactically beyond whatever it is right now. Wallahi, that's me. This is me and my wallahi. Because there's so many other things that I don't have time to tell you with regard to, but I've told you a lot, but the solidity and just simply the mathematics behind it, the computer technology behind it, the transformation of the economy behind it, and the coming appetite and market and interest and the problems that it solves for the fiat fractional reserve economy of the world that is fracturing as we speak, and literally on the brink of collapse. It's been on life support for decades now. Well, like 2008, man, that was like, clear. That's what they had to do to bring the economy back in 2008, right? And mashallah, those folks haven't really, really learned their lesson. But let's finish up. So the idea is that the big boys, which I didn't really finish their story. Let me see if I can just do it simply. Okay, I want to get some of that asset. Other folks have it. Let's call it a baby with candy, right? So I want to, a baby has something that I want, and I know babies like candy. Okay, so I give the baby the candy and I take the thing that I want. Okay, well, that's basically the way that they manipulate, because the market is just fear or greed. I can get you to be afraid, then you'll let go of what I want. Now I can get you to be greedy, so I promote FOMO. Where FOMO is fear of missing out. So I will FUD to push it down. Then you speculating, I don't have nothing to do with that. But you had it when I started the FUD. Now you want to get rid of it. I'm there, I'm there to buy it from you at this very low price. All right. So now you're out of it. You got your couple of little dollars there because you didn't really recognize the true value of the asset that you had in your hand. And good for me, because I take advantage of your ignorance in that respect. So I take that. Now I put FOMO, fear of missing out. How do I do that? I make a large buy. Remember the buy sell wall? I make a large buy. So people say, "Oh, there's a buyers, a lot of buyers coming in. I can sell. I can make more money right now because the price is going up, or I can buy and make more money now, right?" So if I've gotten X amount from you when it was down, and now I pump the market to make people want to come into the market. Well, I'm standing there selling as it goes up. I'm selling to the new money that's coming. I'm talking about the big boy, not me, because I'm not selling. So as it goes up, I'm making profit from the weekend money that I got. So now I sell it to the guy that came in at 2,000. Then I sell the one that comes in at 4,000. I sell it to the one that comes in at 6,000. Sell it to the one that comes in at 10,000. That's my game because I got so many of these assets at rock bottom prices because the weekend people wasn't ready to hold on to because they were scared. I scared them out of that asset when it was low. I drove it down. Now I got a handful of these, and now I say, "Hey, y'all need to get some of this. You get some of this because you ain't gonna you gonna miss it. Don't you want to miss out?" And they say, "Y'all buy some." Yeah. I'll buy some. So what? I'm making money now, going up. Now, when I got that, and I still have enough of the asset in order to push it back down, play the game all over again, and I'm profiting. I'm profiting by the way I bring that new money in through fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and then I gain the profit by pumping FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. So that's how they play the game. So don't you, if you're involved, don't trip on the idea of going up and down, up and down. That's the nature of the game right now. That's fine. They're called hodlers. Hodlers hold on for dear life. It's like, okay, if you're in, well, you got to understand that that's the nature of the game right now. Sweat. You got to understand that's the nature of the game right now. If you can't stand it, then like I said, can't stand the heat, stay out the kitchen. But I'm telling you, this is an asset like no other. It's hard to even imagine or fathom what else could come along to displace this. Once you have some understanding of it, it's like this is it. This is transformational in the most fundamental way. This is it. You talk about intergenerational wealth. This is like, man, owning a Bitcoin will be like owning a block of property in New York 100 years ago, right? Meaning that you bought it 100 years ago, and now 100 years later, you own that block in Manhattan. Well, that's what it's going to be like to have that. So you have to have that view of your generation, your children and your grandchildren owning what you purchased at this time. All the leveraging and all those things, you can still do that with that asset. It doesn't mean just buy it, hold, etc. You have to know how to articulate it as a value and as an asset. That's business mindedness. That's investor mindedness. You don't just hold it. You make it something else, but the core foundation of it, you hold on to that, and you pass that on. Rockefeller, Kennedy, Getty, you pass that on to your subsequent generations. That's what you got to be thinking about. Think about this in that way. Don't think about this about the cheeseburger or the Cadillac that you want next week. Get off of that. Get off of that. That's that Negro mindset, man. You got to move to the other. We got to get out of here. All right. Well, that's what it was today. All right. That's what it was today. So let me see. Let me kill this off. Remove. And here we are. We're about to check out this bird. What you got to say for yourself?
I had to say that this is the season to start choosing the life that you want, not letting the media and buzzwords that tell us which direction to go in by using terms like recession, using terms like drought, they use this language to move the sheep in the direction they want them to move in, right? What we have to hold tight to is what is our intention and what is it that we want for our life. Let that be the motivating factor, not based on the media. Like, okay, study it so that you understand it. Because like every time when I say successful people don't freak out about recession as much as we do, because we be like, well, how am I gonna pay rent? How am I gonna survive? What's happening there? You know,
Yeah.
and we have to
Yeah.
shift our mindset in a space that says that, you know, we still get to choose how we want our life to be, but lack of knowledge creates insecurity, so we have to be willing to do the study and learn and understand it.
Absolutely. You have to. You have to. One of the comments from Imam Muhammad many years ago, mashallah, obviously many years ago, but the Imam said, he said that economic life is intellectually fated.
Mm,
Economic life is intellectually fated, right? So that's his
yeah,
way of saying what others say is that money flows from those who don't know to those who do
there
know,
it is.
right? So it's
There
like
it is.
whatever you
Right.
don't know, you're gonna pay somebody for it, and that's where the money is gonna go. It's gonna go from those who don't know and have money to those who do know, because you're gonna have to give
Yeah.
them your money in order to get what you don't know, right? But if you increase your own
100%.
knowledge, the less folks you got to pay. You increase your own knowledge of whatever it
Absolutely.
is. All right, well, so it's like, come on, it's like you can't, you have to use your brains. You have to use your brains. You have to you have to study in order, and whatever, any asset doesn't matter. You have to know it in order to really benefit from it. We're going to have to check out
Mm.
Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. All right. So that's coming up. It's tomorrow, but see,
Alhamdulillah.
I won't be looking in her pretty face tomorrow. So I gotta give my little happy birthday holla.
Mom was in
Shout
labor.
out.
Mom was in labor at this time, so it still counts.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Praise be to Allah. All
Alhamdulillah.
right, sweetie. Love you, baby.
All right, Baba.
Enjoy. Hey,
Love you more.
everybody. Hey, study. Don't be weak. Go after it. Hold on. Be patient. Believe and act on
Mm,
what you believe. Inshallah.
that's it.
Assalamu
Mm,
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
inshallah.
barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.